How you doing, everyone? You've met Elliott before. He's not going to go to the shoulder this time. Wow. Every time he's been here, you've seen him go to the shoulder. He almost always does that. He very rarely goes down that way. Um, but, well, this video is going to be the story of Elliott and how we ended up with him. Now, we started off with when my wife and I got together. She had the dog, Molly, and it was just three of us for a while. And then she decided she wanted to get a cat. And I told you the story about George. You can go back and find that video, how we ended up with George. And he's a pretty cool cat, but he very camera shy, doesn't want to be in the videos. Elliott didn't want to be in this one, even though it's about him. We started fostering kittens. And, well, we were doing all right for a while, We'd foster a group of, sometimes as many as 6 or, anywhere from like 2 to 6 at a time, right? Just whatever the shelter needed, right? Whatever they had available, whatever they needed, we would foster. And Elliott was in a group. I want to say his group was 5. I want to say there were 5 in his litter, and he was the smallest one of the bunch. You've seen how small he is. He's a 3-year-old cat, and he is that small. Yeah, he's probably not going to get any bigger than that. But keep in mind, when we got him, he wasn't old enough to. Well, I think he was taken away from his mother too soon, but he was not old enough to be adopted yet, not old enough to be neutered, and really he was old enough to be neutered, but he wasn't big enough when we had it done. I mean, he was woozy for quite a while afterwards, and that cat's loopy enough as it is. He didn't need help. But yeah, when he was like this big, just this little tiny kitten, right? Now, I know that Molly made an appearance. I mean, like, she made an appearance in one of my videos where we were outside and she joined me in the video for a little bit, but you've probably seen her walk back and forth every once in a while. You see that big tail. She's a 100-pound dog, right? She is not small by any means. I mean, she's not huge, but she's not small. Well, Elliott, this little snot, he would, while Molly was in her bed, he would go up and we're talking about a kitten that doesn't even weigh a pound yet. He's just a few weeks old. And he goes right over there like, "Hey, dog, you're in my spot." And Molly, being the grumpy old, well, you know the word that she is, and she gets up and she walks away from this little tiny kitten. And he curls up right dead center of her bed. And then she's afraid to go back over there. It's just the funniest thing. And anyway, my wife formed a special bond with Elliott. And because he was so tiny, he was the smallest one of the litter. And, he was so small that, like, she works from home, right? And so she would have, the kittens sit with her sometimes while she was working, and she'd pick up Elliott, and, particularly Elliott, because he was the one that needed the most. And she'd put him right here, and keep him right there. And that's just kind of where he grew up right there, and they just kind of formed a bond. And when it came time to send the kittens back, she said, no, he's not going back. We're keeping him. I mean, of course, we had to send him back to get neutered and whatnot, and we had to, go fill the paperwork out to say that we're adopting him, and all that. So it's not that he didn't go back at all. It's just that he went back just long enough that they could release him to us. I mean, I think he had to stay overnight, because I don't remember. I mean, that's been a while. I want to say he had to stay overnight, though. But they sent him back to us. They sent him back to us with one of the other kittens, just so that, he would have someone his own age to play with. Because that other kitten was also kind of small, but I mean, just his personality was, my wife just fell in love with him. And I was okay with letting him go back, but she wasn't. So, all right, I guess we're keeping him. And now I think he thinks he owns the place. He is the biggest troublemaker that we have. I mean, every once in a while he'll get up like in these plants behind me, I mean, he is, and he's not smart at all. He is not a smart cat. But I like to joke that what he lacks in smart, he makes up in dumb. So, he's got that going for him. And just a constant troublemaker in one way or another. I mean, one of the funniest things that he does is, again, picking on Molly. He loves to pick on Molly. Molly will have her tail going like this, and Elliott will be, behind her going like bap, 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 trying to bat at her tail, and then, Molly will growl at him and turn around and look at him, and he'll look back at her like, what? I didn't do nothing. It's the funniest thing. I mean, he's a pretty good cat, though. I mean, he's a bit of a troublemaker. You've seen him, not in this video, but you've seen him get up on my shoulder and jump off. I mean, that's his thing. And actually, funniest thing on that is the very first time he ever did that, we had to go see the vet. And it wasn't, anything really. It was just, you have to go. You go to the doctor sometimes. Well, so does a cat. So we were sitting in there, and, I picked him up, and he climbed up onto my shoulder, and I could see it. I mean, he had never done this before, but I could see what he was about to do. He crouched down into that I'm going to pounce across the room position. And my wife was standing probably about 4 feet away from me. And he jumped from my shoulder to hers. And the funniest thing is, she wasn't looking when he jumped. She just turned and saw this streak of white coming at her. It was so funny. And then he did that several times, I mean, he would do that at home, and then it just kind of got to the point where, now he only does it with me. But, I pick him up, he'll get up on my shoulder and jump off. But he's goofy like that, so. And it's very rare that he doesn't go to my shoulder when I pick him up. So. But, yeah, He's still the biggest troublemaker of the cats that we have. But yeah, he was the second cat to join the family officially. And there are times when I'd still like to send him back, but no, I don't. I don't want to send him back. Oh, by the way, side note, how did he get the name Elliott? My wife and I, we were talking about music, and somehow, I think I'm the one that mentioned Def Leppard, and she asked me, who sings for Def Leppard anyway? And so I told her, Joe Elliott. And she's like, Elliott, that's it. That's his name. So Joe Elliott of Def Leppard, if you see this video, the cat's named after you. So, not that Joe's watching this, I'm sure, but just in case. Yeah, you have a cat named after you, buddy. Anyway, that's the story of Elliott. I'll catch you next time.